Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about the double kettlebell rocket, an extremely intense leg exercise. The double kettlebell rocket is a nightmare exercise for almost everybody who ever does it. A double kettlebell rocket is like a swing with a low end on both sides. Normally in your progression of kettlebells, it goes two-hand swing, hand-to-hand swing, single arm swing, double outside swing. Somewhere after that nightmare is double rocket. Then single rocket's actually the worst one, although that doesn't make sense to most people. The rocket is adapted from heavy club training. The difference between heavy clubs and kettlebells is their diameter. So normally people will learn this with a heavy club first. That's how we're gonna teach it. We're gonna teach it heavy club first, then we're gonna adapt it to kettlebell exercise. Clubs are a smaller diameter than kettlebells are. So clubs are much easier to learn this exercise with because the smaller diameter means you're less likely to accidentally clock yourself in the knee when you get tired. A competition kettlebell is fairly large in diameter. It's over 8. I think it's 8.3 or 8.2, but consider it about 8.5 inches. The bigger diameter makes it harder to do correctly. The double kettlebell swing leads to the double kettlebell rocket. A swing, down, up. Hip hinge at the bottom, hip extension at the top. Thumbs point down, thumbs point up, push back, stand. As with all swings, the point is to stand all the way up at the top. With heavy clubs, you tend to swing outside your legs. With kettlebells, you tend to swing inside the body frame, inside the legs. With clubs, definitely point your feet straight ahead because if you turn out, you tend to clock yourself in the inside of the knee or scrape the top of your foot. Think of this as sport-specific training for downhill skiing. After the swing, we go to the rocket. The rocket will start same way. Thumbs point down, grab the clubs. The difference is, at the back, you're gonna touch down. At the front, you're gonna touch down. So you're staying in leg load the entire time. You're not moving to extension. Touch, 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 touch. Take the touch away. With a swing, inhale down, exhale up. With a rocket, exhale on both sides of the movement. When you exhale, your core involuntarily contracts, which creates spinal stability. With the clubs, think thumbs up the whole time. On the swing, same thing is true with the kettlebell. We have a video already on double outside swing. Go back and watch it. Thumbs point towards the sky, grab in the top corner of the kettlebell, get your feet a little closer together. Light kettlebells are heavier than heavy clubs. So with club swings, most people are probably using double 15s, double 20s, double 25s. There is not a wide availability of clubs over 45 pounds, but most people will have access to, say, kettlebells in the 16K, 24K, and 32K range. So if you were to use two super heavy clubs, two 45s, it would be 90 pounds. If you did two heavy kettlebells at, say, 32K, it would be 140 some pounds, which is a pretty substantial difference in overall weight. So when people want to get more out of this exercise, they go to kettlebells from clubs. The kettlebell is easier to grip because it's pulling through your grip. You have more fingers on. The club is harder because it's pulling through your grip. Kettlebell against, club through. Pulling through is harder. It's the difference between pull-ups and climbing a rope. When we go to the kettlebell rocket, it's a little bit worse than the club because the height of the kettlebell is lower. You have to get lower to the ground. Feet point straight ahead. If you turn out on this, you're gonna notice it's bad very quickly. Don't do that. Point your feet straight ahead like it's downhill skiing. You do not turn out on your downhill skiing. Point your feet straight ahead, same thing here. Hands go into the hips, heels stay flat on the ground, thumbs point up. Go to the front corner of the kettlebell, tip them towards you. Touchdown at the back, touchdown at the front, touchdown at the back, touchdown at the front. That sets our position to let us know that we're in the right spot. Drive your shoulders away from your ears, squeeze the lats. Now take out the touch. Finish with the weights out in front, tip the kettlebells forward, take yourself out of load, stand all the way up. To review, normally people learn this with double clubs first. Double clubs are lighter, the lever is longer, so it's easier for people to get into the position. When people become more advanced, then they go to kettlebell so that they can get more weight. The trade-off is heavier weight, greater range of movement, because the lever is shorter and you're pulling against your grip instead of through your grip. The difference between pull-ups against your grip and climbing rope, pulling through your grip. Normally with clubs, this is done as time under tension because the weights are lighter. It would be done for 30, 60, or 90-second sets. You would count your reps and you would record them in relation to the amount of time. And you would try to go faster each time you did it. With kettlebells being heavier weights, you could do it that way if you have adjustable kettlebells like we're using here, and you can adjust the weight by half an increment if you have a Wildman kettlebell, or 1 increment if you have every other company's kettlebell. Most people will turn this back into a strength training exercise when they do this with kettlebells, and they'll start doing something like 5 sets of 5, and then they will add volume to the training over time. So think 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, because forward and back is 1 rep. So it would actually be 10 force absorptions, 10 breaths per 5 reps. Because with the kettlebells, most people will have substantially heavier weights than they do with clubs. Pointing your feet straight ahead is incredibly important with this exercise. There is no stand-up, but maintaining our crown to coccyx alignment in this position is the goal. If you flex your spine or extend your spine, if your rib cage is not down and your abs are not on the entire time, you are likely to transfer too much force to some part of your spine, and it is likely to stop you from doing it again. This is an advanced exercise, and you should do swings, hand-to-hand swings, single arm swings, clean and press, double swings, double cleans, double outside deadlifts, double outside swings before you get to this exercise. This exercise is not for the faint of heart, and it is harder than most people will want to do, especially if they want to do it correctly. But this is extremely sport-specific training for something like skiers, downhill skiers, racers, and dirt bike guys. Dirt bike guys or mountain bikers will find this exercise to be incredibly, incredibly valuable. Competition adjustable bells will allow you to micro adjust your weight. Fixed weight bells have bigger jumps. You're going to have to turn it into strength training. If you have micro adjustable kettlebells, then you can do it as time under tension, but always track your data, figure out how hard it is, and figure out what you can do better. If your arms are moving out of phase with each other, definitely go down in weight. The goal of training is not to get hurt. The goal of training is to do it right with good technique so that you can continue to train so that you can get closer to your goals.